No matter your age, your plan for retirement can start today. From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Retirement Report.
Good morning. Welcome to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. Yes, last week I started talking about 18 scary retirement statistics from this article, and I got through about half of them, so we're going to finish those out today. One of the things that in going over these to keep in mind, when it comes to retirement, it's the lack of planning that seems to be one of the big problems that people run into, and I'm going to get into this, and there's statistics to in fact support that. Some of the things also that are very concerning, when you look at the majority of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. I mean, that's not even an emergency, a minimal emergency type fund. So this is one area. Another is when we get into comparing men and women in their situation, we see some other stark statistics that are starting to show up there, and that women are much more financially fragile today than men are. And we're going to go into the reasons there and what the statistics show. And another we talked a little bit about last week, for instance, had to do with health care costs and retirements. And I've talked about that on the show before. One of the things about health care costs, we think, get to 65. A lot of people think, they're going to have Medicare, and basically that's, the end of it. They're not going to have to worry. But the reality is Medicare has a lot of deductibles and co-insurance and premium payments for Part B as an example. So when you look at Medicare, and the health care cost, the out-of-pocket health care costs, you're still going to have $5,000 to $6,000 a year potentially in out-of-pocket health care costs in meeting those deductibles and premiums and co-insurance. And here was another statistic. Many retirees are one health care crisis away from financial collapse, and that's defined as a health care expense of $15,000 or more. So this shows just how unprepared people are for retirement, and we're going to get into some of the reasons with that this morning. And here's the other part. Understanding that you don't have to settle for that, all right? That doesn't have to be your future. And understanding, too, how people get too concerned and they save so much, and they are so afraid of spending, and they're so afraid of living their lives for fear of running out of money, for fear of all the things I was just alluding to and that we're going to talk about more. And they just don't know what that future is going to look like, so therefore they overreact in one direction or another. So one of the things we're going to talk about is the importance of planning, how you can know what your financial future is. All right? I do this with clients each and every day. We show them basically, with new clients, when they come in, we do assessments, we do a complete financial analysis. We're looking at what you have for income, what you have for expenses, what you have for assets, liabilities. We take all of that into consideration. We look at inflation, another thing we're going to talk about today, the importance of doing that. We look at taxes, of course. How do you minimize taxes? This is important. There are a lot of strategies to do that. Here's what you need to understand. Once you have that plan in place, once we do those projections, we can show you, based on the things you're doing today, what your financial future looks like. This is why I do these things, trying to educate you so you can see the importance of understanding how these things work, and hopefully take some steps to improve your situation so that you can attain and maintain your standard of living and quality of life. All right, so here's another thing we're going to do. For the first 10 callers, I'm going to offer up again this week, for the first 10 callers to my office, 615-376-5325. Debbie's standing by. She'll take your information. She'll send you out a little checklist of things to bring to your appointment, and I will do for you this exactly what I'm talking about, a free retirement income analysis to show you your financial future, to talk to you about things like Social Security and Medicare, health care costs in retirement, investments, how to protect yourself against downturns in the market, how to, in fact, look inside your portfolio and see what kind of risks are there and what kind of losses you may, in fact, be potentially subject to. And for those that come in, I'll also provide you a free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. When you come into the office, we'll give you a copy of that. And in that, it lays out a lot of what we're going to be doing. The first 2 chapters talk about the comprehensive financial planning part, and then it gets into tax mastery, IRA mastery, if you will, how to be able to take money out of your retirement accounts and minimize taxes in the process as you need to in retirement. Safe money strategies, things that, talking about bonds, fixed instruments, fixed annuities, these kind of things, the good and the bad of those. Talk about how the smart money invests. All right, there's a science to investing. We have Nobel Prize winning academic research available, all right, that shows us exactly what works. It's been back tested over decades, and we know this will work, and we know how to apply these, and I can show you these strategies as well as some of the newest things coming out of the business schools like Wharton School of Finance as an example, some of the research that's being done today, and some of the great products that we now have, ways that we can help hedge against market losses, how we can help make sure that you never have to worry about running out of money in retirement as an example. All right, so that's a part of it. And then also we get into long-term care is in the book. There's a chapter on that, and of course estate planning as well, which is important for couples, as for families, for basically for everyone. One of the things we talk about here on the show, I've had Russ Cook, an estate planning attorney over in Brentwood, on many times, and we get into talking about the importance of having a power of attorney, for instance. Do you have a will, a trust? What's the difference between the two? Which one's better for you? All of that I cover in the book, and it's all also covered if you come in for the retirement income analysis. That comprehensive financial plan I'm going to do, I'm going to cover all those areas with you. All right? All right, so today we're going to talk about some of the things, some of the reasons here that we need to be concerned. These 18 scary retirement statistics. We went over some of them. One, women are financially more fragile today than they were just 20 years ago, as an example. Women in their 50s in particular are delaying retirement. One reason for that, they have higher levels of debt. One of the things that surprised me, this includes educational debt, student loans, also divorce, widowhood. These are issues for them that they've been subject to, these shakeups in their life that have caused them to have a more financially fragile situation. Also, overall debt has doubled for women over 50, while at the same time we're also seeing more than half of women over 50 have less than, $25,000 saved up for retirement. So you can see how fragile this is. And in addition, they have mortgages that are higher than half the value of their home. So more debt, less savings, and here's where they're having to delay retirement, right? But even there, if you're in your 50s and you're thinking, what am I going to do to prepare for retirement? Am I prepared? What's my 401k looking like? Do I have it properly allocated? In other words, the kinds of mutual funds that you have, what kind of risk are there? Are you doing the right things to accomplish your goal, to give you the ability to retire, okay, when you want, and be able to maintain your standard of living and quality of life? Well, that's what we do, all right? So one of the things here, this is one of the reasons, is this lack of planning. Another interesting thing was, women are not confident about half of women are not confident about retiring and being able to maintain their standard of living, compared to a third of men. So again, we're seeing that the woman's situation is much more fragile. All right. Now, also, here's some other things to think about. Compound these kinds of concerns, both for men and women, couples, families. The cost of living increase for Social Security was like a joke. I mean, it was such a small fraction. I think it amounted to maybe $5 a month or something for people. And when you think of how much the cost of living is increasing over the time, is it any wonder that people are more concerned than ever with being able to stay up with the cost of living increases? All right, we know when you go to the grocery store, we know when you're buying clothes and this kind of thing, we see the types of things that we spend our money on every day. Healthcare costs are ridiculously high in terms of and how fast they're rising. So we know that the cost of living adjustments given through Social Security, and for many pensions, there's no cost of living adjustments at all. They're just level, and that's even if you are fortunate enough to have a pension. How many workers out there are, when was the last time you got a raise, and what did that look like? Okay, this is another area. So when you look at these kinds of things, what are the how do you plan for this stuff? How do you get ahead of it? All right, some other things I'm going to just recap quickly. Dealing with one of the things when I looked at this statistic about inflation was the fact that people are very concerned about the cost of living increasing. Okay, they recognize what's happening there, and I've had people, new clients come in and say how much their lives have changed, and they're having to dip more and more in their savings just to maintain the same standard of living. All right, or, and this is the worst part yet, or they have to start cutting back, living more modestly and giving up things because of their concern about running out of money. There are ways that there are strategies and plans in ways that I can help you where you won't have to do that, okay, where you're able to attain and maintain your standard of living and quality of life no matter how long you live, stay ahead of inflation, stay ahead of taxes, all of that, okay? We can do that, and we're going to get into it today, but first we're going to take a break. So join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.